Alright everyone, it's time for Occult Literature, video number 357, The Son of God. Link in the description of my edition of this work on Amazon. It's 121 pages, so it's intermediate, yet again. Second and third links to my books, blogs. This goes under the religion header because it is a technical Rosicrucian work. It's a climber work. And it is a mystical interpretation of the story of Jesus. So Jesus as an Essene, which is historically probably the case, assuming that you believe this figure in some form existed and was not based on Apollonius. Jesus would not have been Jewish in the sense of being a Pharisee. He wouldn't have been a Sadducee. If you look at what is claimed about the life, it is completely out of step with both the religious and more cultural Jewish aspects that were around in antiquity. Wouldn't have fit in with them. Jesus, in other traditions, including some that are semi-contemporary, is said to have wandered around, certainly, according to the Bible, was in Egypt for an extended period, would have had some knowledge of the Egyptian religion, presumably would have been as well exposed to some of the cults and various sects that existed there that had other beliefs, including Greek diaspora, pagan diaspora of various kinds, would have been aware of Mithraism and so forth, and seems to have espoused views that historically, if you look at what's actually said, seem to be Essene. They don't seem to be mainline Judaism in the sense that the average Jew would have been practicing Judaism at that time in the first century. And so, this particular work talks about a mystical interpretation of Jesus. Now, Clymer and people like him, Clymer, of course, the Temple of the Illuminati writer, they were Christians, ostensibly, but it was a mystic Christianity that also imported certain Eastern elements. But if they're correct about the historicity of Jesus and where he would have gotten some of his teachings from, Jesus already had that Eastern influence in mind. He was not a flat-out customary Jew, practicing some of the customs, yes, but appears to have had, at the very least, Zoroastrian influence at times. Certainly would have been part of the Essene order. I do believe that would be the case. Of course, jury's still out. It would also explain it if Apollonius were used as a template. Again, going into the Indus region, going across Persia, certainly spending time in Egypt and Greece, would have had a similar kind of hodgepodge view as a philosopher, again, contemporary to the general time period. And it's not necessarily sure whether that's the case, because if you look, the first positively dated mentions of Jesus from like Tacitus and so forth would have post-dated knowledge of Apollonius via Philostratus anyway. So, of course, this isn't touched on in this particular book, but it's fascinating nonetheless. I've been in an Apollonius kick lately, can you tell? So definitely highly recommended. If you're into the mystic Christ, Jesus as Eastern influenced, as Essene, anything along those lines, sort of the Rosicrucian conception of Jesus as well, you should definitely check this work out. This is, again, it's by Clymer, so it has that mystical interpretation. Again, a link in the description of my edition of this work on Amazon. Second and third links to my books, blogs. I think there are half a dozen now, including this, works by Reuben Clymer, and I think several others that come from that general background as well that are available. That's about all. Peace out.